All right, so Joe Rogan just did a fight companion with Brendan Schaub and Bryan Callen, and like usual, you could tell Rogan was getting pretty annoyed with Bryan. I mean, it's like a guarantee at this point. If they're doing a fight companion, Rogan's going to tell Bryan to shut the F up at least once. And it's always hilarious to watch. I mean, some of the ones from last year, Rogan would be taking shots at Bryan every chance he got, and Bryan just couldn't catch a break.
Problem with MMA is that so many things can go wrong, and so you can have one person dominant.
What are you saying?
And then he's going to grab him and try to get behind him and ride him back.
Let me just correct you right away.
Please.
Yeah. You're underestimating something.
No one's underestimating anything.
You're underestimating something.
I'm underestimating you.
You're underestimating. Come to my stand-up.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, God.
Buy his flip-flops.
Shut up, Joe.
Any amount of money you want.
All right, $5,000.
Oh, my God, you're retarded.
That's why.
He's the only guy who beats Volkanovski at 45, in my opinion. Right
Will
now.
you just shut the f*** up?
Nope, I will
You
not.
have zero
Let's see if he gets
idea.
past.
I want to lose my money because I love Volkanovski.
You're a piece of
Wow,
shit.
that's
Yes.
crazy.
Hey,
Hey,
put your toes on.
sakes.
Take those off.
Shut the fuck up.
Throw yourself.
Listen to you. Listen to him.
Come
So
on.
silly.
We're-
I
the
know
three
you
of
want
us-
to promote your goofy
I'm not,
flip-flops.
I'm not promoting him. I just got
You
him
even
for
call
you.
them toe holds.
Feel him under your
Put your
feet.
toe holds on.
Feel him for you. Feel him under your feet. Come on.
Yeah, so the streak of fight companions where Rogan tells Bryan to shut the F up continued last night, but Bryan at this point is probably just used to it. I mean, he doesn't seem to care too much, but on this most recent one, he did kind of stand his ground a little bit, like he talked back to Joe and tried to argue with him. So I think Bryan might be gaining some confidence here because also, this was a pretty big week for him. He actually got a shout out from The Rock on Instagram, which I know is hard to believe, but you go to The Rock's account with almost 400 million Instagram followers, and there's Bryan Callen with his beady eyes staring back at you, which is just horrifying. But this is a big deal for Bryan. This post has almost 200,000 likes, and he also tagged Bryan and said he wants to go out to eat with him sometime.
At this, I'm gonna toast you guys. Got the fresh out of the freezer frosted Terramana. Here we go.
Look at this man. Never mind his amazing digestion. 11 p.m. He's eating a giant plate of raw fish, white rice, and washing it down with 5 shots of tequila on ice. Unbelievable. I eat popcorn too late. My body will wake me up at 3 a.m. like, get up, I need help digesting this corn. But let's just talk about the fact that the man looks that good in a tank top in his 50s. I don't even own a tank top. You know why? The last time I wore a tank top, my sister said, what's with the tank top? I flexed at her. I said, how do I look? She said, like you jog 3 days a week. And by the way, that was 10 years ago. I wear a tank top now? I look like I've been thrown out of my house because my wife can't deal with my drinking and lethargy. And I work out like a maniac, but this is when you realize genetics are so important. The Rock comes from warrior genetics. I come from a long line of Irish and Italian peasantry. No matter what I do, no matter how hard I work in the gym, I always stay about as muscular as your average mannequin. So God bless The Rock. This is why I'm going to vote for him if he runs for president, but it's also why I probably can't follow him because he makes me feel bad about myself.
Yeah, so The Rock reposted that to Instagram, and most of the comments are actually pretty positive. Obviously there are some people bringing up the allegations and everything, which is expected, but that's why it's a pretty bold move for The Rock to repost this because, he's all about his image. He doesn't want any kind of controversy or backlash, and with this, obviously some people are going to be upset. But so far it hasn't been too bad, and the fact that it's still up is a good sign because he's known to take posts down if he gets too much backlash for them. Like when Rogan was getting canceled, The Rock made a post supporting him, and obviously he got some backlash for it. And then some guy explained to him that Joe once said the N-word, so The Rock took it back and made a post apologizing for it. So it's good he's sticking with this post about Callen. And, maybe Callen found a new angle with this, just trying to be a simp for The Rock. It's better than being a simp for Steven Crowder, that's for sure, or a gimp for Steven Crowder. I think that's probably more like what Bryan was, but I think he managed to get out of that. But if not, this Rock post should definitely help. So also, Brendan Schaub must be pretty happy for Bryan about this. And also, I'm sure jealous at the same time. But if you remember just last week, Brendan was talking about how Bryan doesn't get the respect he deserves as a comedian.
And you're telling me Bryan's not better than 99% of those fucking comics. It drives me nuts that he's not up there with those guys. He's better than fucking 99% of them.
Yeah, so maybe we'll see Bryan Callen start to make a comeback here. Maybe he'll be in The Rock's next movie. That would be insane. But it looks like he got some confidence from this Rock post. And when he was on Rogan's Fight Companion recently, he brought up this conspiracy theory that he has about the Francis Ngannou Tyson Fury fight. And you could tell he was hesitant to bring this up because as soon as he says it, he's like, yeah, I'm not saying anything. Like, he almost immediately regrets it. But then Rogan's like, what'd you say? And he's like, yeah, I said it. And then, of course, Rogan tells him to shut the F up and starts saying he's ridiculous and he's completely wrong. And, Bryan, he does stand his ground and tries to argue with him more than usual, at least.
Yeah. But a guy who's been drinking and doing coke and barely paying attention.
And didn't take you serious.
Yeah, didn't take you serious, and you dropped him, but then...
He also might have had an incentive to keep that fight going for a long time. I'm not saying anything, but...
What?
Yeah, I said it.
Who?
Mike Tyson Fury.
Shut the fuck up.
He may have had an
You're
incentive.
ridiculous.
No, I'm not.
You're so wrong.
No, I'm not.
You couldn't be... Oh, yeah, Calvin got him down again.
You don't know what they're... You have no idea.
There's not a chance in hell.
There's
Not a chance in hell, and there's not a chance in hell that Tyson Fury carried him.
Huh.
Are you
He was
suggesting
terrified
that
of his
Gypsies
power.
Was up
He
to
got
something?
dropped
No.
with a furious
Wrong.
left hook in
No.
the left round. He got rocked in the 8th round.
No.
Bro, it's the same thing that you see in the Usyk fight. He's not all there anymore. Those fights with Deontay Wilder took
Changed
something
him.
out of him. 100%.
And Joe just tries to move on from it and not argue with him. But Bryan, he tries to stay on the point, and it gets really awkward here because Brendan starts talking about something else. So they've kind of moved on from Bryan's theory. But Bryan tries his best to jump back in and continue talking about it. And of course, it does not go well.
Was the most terrifying knockout puncher in the history of the heavyweight division.
I believe-
And he dropped him twice in that last fight and rocked him bad.
And I feel like we don't
really
appreciate.
badly
I
hurt.
feel like we don't
I-
appreciate Deontay Wilder as much as we should.
You know how it is,
agree.
man. Once a guy loses, you start thinking about him as the guy that just lost.
That's
you don't
so
think
wild
about
to
him.
me.
Yeah,
I don't.
I don't either.
Especially for somebody that started boxing late in life.
I think...
Started when he was 23.
I don't
bro.
think...
And he
I
was a
still think
bronze
that
medal winner
Tyson
in
Fury
the
fight...
Olympics at 23.
Did you not hear him talking?
Yeah, but I'm just saying. I'm
Interesting.
finishing my thought.
Yeah, but
Because-
you're finishing your thought while he's talking. That's kind of crazy.
Yeah, but
Could be.
we were already having our conversation, and then you moved on. I'm saying that the idea that Tyson Fury didn't have a bag of tricks and he didn't carry him, for me, it's very strange to me. It's very strange. I don't know. Maybe he
looked
didn't
fat.
train at all. I
He
don't
looked
know.
fat. He looked out of shape. You know he was partying. Everybody said he was partying.
Yeah, so Bryan Callen is actually standing up for himself, and he got a shout out from The Rock. Maybe things are starting to turn around for him. I mean, if Kevin Spacey can make a return, I think Bryan probably could. And, maybe Tim Dillon's right. He's talking about how all the canceled people are coming back. Maybe that's what we're starting to see here. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think about it down in the comments. And then make sure to check out my Patreon account if you want to hear about the time Brendan Schaub accidentally exposed Joe Rogan, or if you want to hear about the best fights between Brendan and Bryan, or the time Tim Dillon humbled Whitney Cummings, or the degeneracy of Ari Shaffir, or the time Patton Oswalt apologized for taking a picture of Dave Chappelle. There's a ton of stuff on there. There's a lot to go through. Over 80 videos. So if you're a fan of the channel, you want to help support it and get extra content, make sure you check it out. Put a link in the description.